live. I think we are there. Hello, everybody. Welcome to another day in the Milky Way. And I got like 1 second in order to mute this. Otherwise, we're gonna get. Oh, there we go. I remember to do it this time. Otherwise, we get the thing. And I got my beautiful background, and we are good to go. And I'm doing it right today. Yay. So welcome everybody. And tonight we have a special guest, Ryan. I can't remember how to say your name.
Serio.
Serio.
Yes.
I don't want to get it wrong. I'm really bad at pronouncing names. And of course we got Trina, and we got Darth, who's gonna read us a card today. So Ryan, would you tell us just a little bit of scenario about what you're going to talk about tonight? And then we'll check the chat room and Darth will read a card.
Sure, yeah. So we are going to talk about dream work and the alchemy that could be done in dreams. And me and Trina go back a few years with this. So we have a lot of stories to tell, and we could teach people how to do things like open portals, close portals, and even meet people in the astral, and like a lot of really cool things that you can do during dream time, and lucid dreaming, astral projection, all that stuff we're going to talk about tonight.
Awesome.
So excited. I've missed you, Ryan. So good to see you again.
Yeah, I missed you. I missed being on Milky Way's show.
Well, here we are. We're back. Yes. We're back at it. We always have Brian in mind. He's the guy that, inspired all of us, got us all going. And, he's guiding us every day. I know he is. He sure does guide me some nights.
Robert, I did a session today, and Brian showed up again. His energy is every single time. It's so funny. He's just letting me know every single time he's here. He's with us. He's watching over us, and he's laughing, and he's enjoying the ride, and
100%.
He's so happy that we're all still together and that we're still growing, and he just loves every minute of it. Every minute of it.
That's the best. I tell you, every time I make it on a show and everything goes right, I think, yep, he's doing it. He always makes me plow through,
Yeah.
Somehow or another, which is a really good thing. I mean, if it wasn't for him, I swear, like the video I made today, I don't know how I can pop it out so fast. Sometimes I'm like, I need guidance today. And my fingers were clicking, and I hope you all enjoyed that quick video I made. It wasn't the longest one, but it was nice. So go back and watch it. It's good. We got a lot of people joining us. They're piling in left and right. We had some early comers of Al. Al's in the house. Big Al. Hey. And we had Julianne Payne.
Hi,
Shannon Kling.
Thank you, Brian.
Mandy Moo from across the pond there.
Hi,
on the other side of the pond.
Yeah.
Sarah Horton. Oh, yes. Sarah Horton.
Michelle Cannon-Free.
Loves this show.
Dark Truth. Slightly Slanted Sleuth.
Oh, yeah, there he is. And Pa Joe.
Hi, Pa Joe.
Pa Joe. Oh, yeah. Let's see. Lost in Space.
I Lost in Space.
Steve. Yes, Steve.
Yeah. Hi,
Slightly Slanted Sleuth. I got to get you back on here.
Yeah.
I got some good questions for you. So expecting an email for me. And let's see. Anyway. Sarah says I look good in purple. I think there is some purple. So speaking of purple, I have this beautiful hat that it's kind of like a scarf hat thing that I got from Crystal MacArthur. And you too can have one. If you go to Crystal MacArthur's channel, you can check her stuff out. She will make you one. These are handmade. Darth, did you get your hat yet?
Yes, I did, actually. Thanks for the free hat.
Hey, no problem. That's compliments of Crystal MacArthur, who makes these nice hats. They're like this.
Color.
Yeah, isn't that nice? They got the little, not all of them have the long thing, but tonight it's cold out. And I haven't had my winter background yet. But anyway, I got the small hats. Darth, you got a small hat, so I sent out a few other ones. Lucky
One of my
Solon.
3 favorite colors.
Yeah.
Good deal. And
Steve
then,
loved his too. Yay.
absolutely.
Which will work well for me since I'm in one of the coldest regions of the country.
Yeah, well, I think, Darth, I think I'm a little farther north than you.
Hi,
Still
Barry.
it's still pretty cold here.
I know. Isn't it? We're like northern bound people, aren't we?
Yeah, even though I was born in southern weather.
Yeah, exactly. You got to bundle up in the wintertime. And Trina, you got
I look forward to move, which I'm planning to do by June-ish.
Oh,
really?
yeah. Wow. Where are you heading? South?
Uh, according to my birth chart,
Yeah.
Phoenix, Arizona.
Oh, that's so funny. That's where I'm at, Darth. We'll be neighbors. Yay.
Cause I did a location astrology with my birth chart, and that's actually one of the best locations for me to move. Another is Kansas City.
Oh,
It has
wow.
something to do with the Jupiter alignment, and I have a really strong Jupiter placement in my birth chart.
Mhm.
And a tarot reader that I go to did a two like where would be the best location for me to move. One was Maui, Hawaii, and the other was Phoenix, Arizona.
Wow.
Both were good, but Phoenix was just better because apparently I have a lot of past life trauma in Maui. It's just a really not only trauma, but I have a strong connection to that state.
Good
Wow.
deal. Good deal. Well, what's your connection with the card tonight?
Ace of Cups.
Ace of
Ooh.
Cups.
Nice.
And what does the Ace of Cups tell us today?
The Ace reveals love and self-expression. Falling in love, pregnancy, motherhood are all common meanings. Or the inspiration to begin a new creative project. Where you find hope for beginning, you are in the flow. There are also opportunities for spiritual growth and healing. Love is giving, shared, and returned in fullness.
Love, share, and
The
give in
beginnings.
fullness. I like that. Yes. Not you can't get better than that. So perfect. Great way to start out our show tonight. And thank you, Darth. I know you're feeling a little under the weather today, so everybody please send Darth some healing energy.
Yeah, I just have a hard time walking.
Walking, holy cow. Well, definitely get rested up, drink some hot tea, and
That's what I've been doing. Hot tea and honey.
oh,
Yeah.
there you go. Absolutely. Well,
Absolutely.
you feel better, Darth.
Yeah.
And thank you for the card reading. That was absolutely wonderful. Sets the tone for the day. All right. All right. Well, we got a few other people who've joined us. David Castle's in the house. He's he's a great guest and a great moderator. Thank you for coming. I seen that what was it? Michelle Can-Am Free also is here too. Barry Chad. I don't think I seen him in there. He's a little late, but he's still here just in time.
Yeah.
And on we go. So Ryan,
Yes.
here's your time to shine.
Okay, so
You're up.
all right. So let's take it back to winter of 2019. So this was an experiment that we did. Me and Trina. It was the idea of Ultraviolet Flame, who many people know. She's a very powerful warrior alchemist spirit. So she set everything up. It was her idea, and me and Trina were some of her guinea pigs. And it was a really fun experiment. It was called the Purple Planet Experiment. So she came up with the idea that we would all meet on the astral plane and in this place that she goes to a lot, which she calls the Purple Planet. she doesn't know the actual name, so we just call it the Purple Planet because there's a lot of purple, like purple sand, everything's purple, amethyst towers, and like a lot of just purple overall hue everywhere. So she wanted like beaches and really nice stuff. But anyway, she wanted us to meet there and then see what we could recall, see if we could actually corroborate each other's stories and how much we could remember. So I was there, Trina was there, her friend Kendra, Ken, who a lot of people know as well. He was there. So we did this, and this was an experiment that was very successful, actually. So we all got there through different routes. So basically, she did a lot of work for the 2 days prior, just like open a lot of these portals, and it was like a week-long thing. But the very first night was the first 2 nights that it was very strong, and those are the nights that we had the most success. So the first time I got to the Purple Planet, like I kind of woke up in the astral. We'll get to exactly how you wake up and go through the portals eventually, but right now I'll tell the story first, and Trina could say like what she did, and then we'll go on from there. But anyway, I opened up this portal, went to the Purple Planet, so that was my intention. Like, I'm going to the Purple Planet right now. Boom, right through the portal, out the other side, and basically let myself go through. Went through like this forest area, like I went more toward like the inland to it, and then landed in front of this tower. It was like this big temple. It was very, I don't know if it's amethystine, but it was like purplish. So I went inside, and like I was wandering around. There were all these rooms inside, and at one point I did see Trina there, and I didn't actually see her as she is now. I saw her mostly with my third eye, but I felt like this is Trina, and it was like a orange energy, like basically engulfing the area. I'm like, that's Trina. And then like I couldn't find, I was like running, I know I was walking around, and I knew that I had to do stuff to like open up the way for everybody else to come. Like, okay, I'm here, Trina's here, so everybody else needs to come. So I started like going back and forth, and when I'm in the astral, I'm just super quick, going like full, like back and forth, like a lot of Mercury energy, so I can go like super fast and open up a lot of portals. And Ultraviolet actually saw me doing that. She's like, and she came back. She's like, what's going on? I saw somebody with like some other spirits like going really fast back and forth doing all this stuff. And I'm like, oh, that was me. But
yes.
Yeah, and then we, so Kent and Kendra ended up meeting, and they both had experiences together. So like I said, me and Trina met there. And that was before we even really knew each other too, like Ultraviolet.
Yeah.
Together. So,
yeah, it was our first time ever like doing it. We met in the astrals first.
Yeah, that's true. That's not many people can say that.
No. I'm like, you and I met in the astrals before we ever talked on screen to screen. And
true.
That is
hilarious. That is true. That is very unusual.
I know, right? Yeah, so when I went, it was the funniest thing because Lauren's like, let's go to the Purple Planet. I was like, okay, let's do it. So I go, and I just travel. Like, I'm just like an arrow. I just like launch, and I'm just going through space, and I see the Purple Planet, and I start to slow down before I get there, and I'm looking at it, and I'm like hovering above it, and then I just had this thought, you should probably get permission. So then I was like, oh, that's probably a good idea. You know, where all of us people are meeting on the Purple Planet. They don't even know we're coming. This could be bad.
Yeah, so, like raid it.
Where do you go?
Yeah, so I was like, oh, I think that's probably a good idea. So I literally said, consciousness of Purple Planet, I wish to speak to whomever is in charge because I would like to ask permission to come to your planet. And all of a sudden I was in this auditorium. And I was surrounded by thousands of beings, and there was like a, like a council, and they were like, why are you here? And I was like, well, me and my friends, we want to try astral projection, and we wanted somewhere where we could go and learn how to do this. And I said, but we didn't really think about asking for permission. And I just got here, and I thought that would probably be a really smart thing to do. And if you have a safe place where we could meet and we could go and work on these abilities, because we don't want to do any harm or disrupt anything, on your planet. And they were like quiet for a minute, and then they were like, permission granted. And they said, follow this being, so that I could see this light body being, and they like escorted me. And all of a sudden I was out of the auditorium and walking towards like a temple, like a temple. And there was a, in the center of it was a big round violet fire flame pit thing. And
yes, I saw that too. The pit. That's right before I saw you, because I was in like the center that was like it was cylindrical, and I remember like looking at something very round in front of me. It wasn't like on fire there, but it did look like a pit. Like it was round, and it went all the way up. Like there was this huge space in front of me. Like it could be like a fire that goes all the way up, but I didn't even think of that. I'm like, what does this do? It's just to me it looked like a museum, like something in a museum, like just like this whole cylindrical space. I'm like, wow, this is cool.
and plasma fire, like plasma fire.
Oh, I missed the explosions.
Damn. Yeah, and then so that's and then I saw because I got permission, I was like, now I'm just going to envision everybody coming here, and I saw us all holding hands and more people showing up, and I saw people coming in and out. It was like all of a sudden everything started to like fast forward. And I was seeing me like standing there, and I was watching everybody starting to come into the planet and different people at different times. And it was like,
that's when I was opening up all those portals. Like
opening
doors, like, here, come in.
Yeah, and then I was seeing all these people coming in and out, coming in and out, coming in and out. And then, gosh, what else did I do up there? I can't remember, but that was like the most intense. Oh, and then I heard all of us to put our love and our heart's intention into healing and just love and positive vibration for the planet. And I saw us all shooting that heart energy into that violet fire plasma thing. And it like shot out and it went to the earth, and how they showed it landing on the earth to me was heart emojis. I saw his little heart emojis dropping. So yeah, that was my experience. Oh, and I saw Lauren too. And Lauren, her light was really awesome because it was super, super moving. It like had super colors moving, and she had wings. I saw wings. Yep. Yep.
I actually did see her once in the Akashic Records, and I told her the next day, I'm like, were you in a library last night? She's like, oh, the Akashic Records sounds like you saw me.
Yep.
Yes.
Absolutely.
Yeah, it's really cool how like we were able to corroborate like different parts of the story. Like we didn't even talk about the pit last time. Like I just looked down like, what is this? I thought it looked like something from a museum. It was just this huge area that was just like something from like a movie or like something from the ancient past that like, what does this do?
Yes.
Good thing I didn't get too close to it. Like
yes. Yes. That it like I said, this is so it's so profound because you think it's just your imagination, but it's not. It's not just your imagination.
Other people see the same things.
Yeah, it is real, and it's like it's beyond profound. I've seen this so many times where people like they'll do mental work with someone that they have an issue with. Like they need to heal a trauma or an unresolved argument, or they haven't talked to this person in 20 years and this is still bothering them, but they don't know how to get a hold of this person. It's such a long time ago, but it's still affecting them. So they'll go in and do these processes in their imagination and talk to the person and come to some type of healing, some type of an understanding, and it shifts the energy. And I mean, I have seen this happen. 20 person they haven't talked to in 20 years will call them within a week. It's weird because this stuff is real, and then it gets validated. And then also too, when they can validate things about like your history or your family or your friends that you did not know about, and then you can validate it that it's true. I've seen evidence that this is definitely real, but it's kind of mind-blowing to know that we can literally create so much in this space and make it manifest.
Yeah, and I've done things like that too. Like I visited people that have hurt me in the astral just to tell them because I couldn't do it any other way. And then next thing you know, I get an apology from them out of the blue. So it does work. You just have to let people know and just let go and just speak, just speak from the heart, not let anything really carry over, and don't be bitter about things. Just like, this is just how it is, you know. Just say like exactly
Absolutely.
how you feel.
Too,
Negative.
Ryan, if you can get into that space where you've got, you know, you're with that person, a really helpful thing is if you can say, now that we're here together, can we remove our ego and personality and put it to the side and call forth the energy and wisdom of the higher self?
Yeah, it's a good idea.
Can we talk from that place while the
Mhm.
conversation shifts?
Mhm.
And that's when you can really get some amazing work done, is when you kind of get into a higher part of mind. And
Yeah,
because,
dissolve
you know,
all the
like,
lower stuff.
yeah, well, it's, you know, it's like you can't solve a problem from the same mind that created it.
Yeah, it's just gonna go in
So
circles.
yeah,
Exactly.
you got to get to
Just
a
go
higher level.
Yeah, exactly.
So
Just gotta rise above it.
right.
Theurgy. It's like the same
Correct.
as theurgy, basically. We have to rise above your current state if you want to
Yeah.
really go to the next level and speak to your higher self, or speak to your gods or angels. Same thing.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So I would love to hear about how you have learned how to do portals in the astrals, and how you learned how to kind of defend yourself in the astral, and
Okay.
some of the protocols for that. So,
Sure. Yeah. Yeah. So, all right. Basically, I very rarely go straight into the astral. A lot of times I'll take the back door where, like, say it's early in the morning, I woke up and then I go back to sleep, and then I find myself maybe 10 minutes later in the dreamscape. And then I realize, like, this is a dream. I get lucid. So, and one good thing to do while you're in dreams is try to, at least one thing I do is that I jump up, and obviously if you're awake, when you go up, you go down. But when you're in a dream, it's different. So there's like certain places when you're like in the in between world, where like the lower part of the astral, you jump up and you kind of like float down. And if you're in like fully in the astral, you jump up and you kind of just float there. So either one, if you're not going straight back down, you know that you're not awake. So that's one way that I see if I'm lucid dreaming or not. And lucid dreaming is just like a step before the astral. So the way I take it from one level to the next, I've said in the past, like we talked about this, about opening portals. But so the way that I do that, first, like I'll try to kind of meditate in the beginning, just to dissolve anything that's from my own mind. Because the difference between the astral plane and a lucid dream is, a lucid dream is in your mind. So you want to dissolve all that. So it's basically like meditating or grounding yourself while you're in the dream. And then everything, the whole scenery just kind of like fades away, because like you know that when you're in a lucid dream, everything's in your mind. Like you just kind of meditate in that moment while you're kind of floating there, and then you just like want everything to melt away. Like I just want to see reality as it is. I just want to see this world that I'm in as it really is, and not through like my own biases of my mind's biases. So that's the first step. So I try to just like get into the astral plane by that, like just try to dissolve the scenery that I'm in, because I know it's all mine. And then to create a portal. So some people actually create like a portal in space through the astral. With me, it's more intention. So the way I do it is that I'll have an intention to go somewhere. Sometimes it's very vague. Sometimes I'll be like, source, please send me to where I should be at this moment. And then like a portal will open up, and I'll just like float onto like a certain area where I feel like I need to learn something. Other times, like I want to speak to my guys, want to speak to my gods, and then I'll say like, bring me to this god, like bring me to Hecate, bring me to Sephiroth, and then I'll like kind of float up, and then I'll just let myself fall backwards. So when I fall backwards, I kind of just like get pulled. So it's kind of weird. I don't see many people talk about this approach, but like it's kind of like a called reverse evocation, where you're evoking yourself to the spirit that you want to talk to. So I kind of just like fall backwards, and then like I'm in midair, and I just kind of float through, and I can feel myself going through the portal. Like it kind of feels like a dense barrier, like hitting me, and then it just floats away. Then I just go on to the next level. Sometimes this happens a bunch of stuff. Like I'll go through like different portals, and then as I'm going through, I'll just like close them, like in this case in front of me. Like I'll go through and I'll close, and I'm in the next one, go through close until I'm in a higher level where I'm actually standing there with the God of choice. So, and then like at this point, it's basically like being face to face with them in the physical. They could speak to you in your language. You can understand that perfectly. They could speak to you with thoughts, and they can implant thoughts in you. Like there's so many things that you could do when you're face to face with a God, because this is like theurgy in action, basically. Like you fall away from what's in your own mind, and like you basically are in front of your spirit guide, and then you let them show you what they feel that you need to learn at this particular point in your life. And then I feel like this is a really powerful way of setting things up for future work. So a lot of times if I am confused about anything at all, like it'll just come to mind. I'm like, okay, well, what can I do about this? What can I do about that? And like, I don't even have to really say things usually, because it's just like I transmit it as thoughts. And then like they could show me a path that I can go to, or they could show me like a few different paths, and they'd be like, okay, choose what you want to do, like based on like certain things. Like, but they really will steer you in specific ways, and then guide you. And then you basically have to choose as well, because like they don't do it for you. And that's another thing, like you have to do all the work yourself. Like don't trust people or spirits that say like, oh, just follow me and do everything I say. That's not the way it works. So you do things yourself, but they can guide you, and like you have to make the choices yourself. Some choices can be better than others, but they're not going to say like, don't do this. They might caution against it, but you're free to do whatever you want. And some choices are bad and they might set you back. Other choices might be better for you, but even the bad choices, like you can grow from them if you're willing to. So nothing truly is a bad choice.
Right.
In the larger scheme of things, unless you just continue to make stupid choice after stupid choice. But at some point you shouldn't be doing this type of theurgic work if you don't know what you want. So you have to like at least like come with some kind of logic and just come from the heart with certain things. But that's basically the way I open portals. And sometimes it is, like you said, like sometimes I need to defend myself, because I do some mission work that could involve really frightening realms where spirits just don't like people, and they see people as basically food. So like the vampiric spirits, and some spirits that are even worse than that, that'll just latch onto you and they just don't care. They'll just eat you alive. They're just like huge mosquitoes, or archonic spirits, you call them. So those are the ones you have to be careful of. So you should close portals. Like when you're leaving, you should always close the door, because if you leave them open, then they can come in. And if you're not spiritually aware, they can latch onto you, and you won't even know it until like they destroy your life. Like some people say like, oh, if I don't believe these things, it's not going to affect me, which is like total BS. Because like no matter what you believe, like these things are real, they do exist. And if you leave portals open in dream work, then they could latch onto you. So you just have to be careful with things like that. So I do a lot of things like that. And when you have really close connection with your guides, you don't have to worry about that as much, because like even if you don't see one of like something like this happening, they do, and they'll be like, get out of there. Sometimes I've actually seen them kill spirits that try to harm me, like if I'm a little bit unaware. So yeah, they can be very protective too. So I wouldn't caution against doing this type of work. Just be on your guard, just because there are some entities that are not really friendly to people. It's not all love and light like some people think, but on the other hand, it's not all darkness and scary stuff, which some other people think the astral plane is. For the most part, it's dependent on your own intentions.
Mind.
Yeah, exactly. And if you
mind.
have good intentions,
you got going on? What you got
and if
going
you have
on?
if you have really good intentions and are coming from the heart, even if you do encounter some negative spirits, they're not going to harm you. Like you don't have to worry about that, because your guides will like wipe them out. Like
and you're not a frequency match, so they kind of can't come near you.
Yeah, they could try, like they can go around you, but like a lot of times they can't enter your circle. Like they could just like creep on the outside.
They can't get in the auric field, and it's almost like your guides and your protectors. Like if they know that you need to be strengthened, they know how to like strengthen your auric field of your own protection without kind of you even asking for it. Like, because somehow we're all working together through the heart. So it's a beautiful thing.
Yeah, and if you do slip up, and like there have been times when they were able to penetrate my field, and at that point, if they felt like they were too strong for me, I just invoked one of my spirits, like especially the warrior goddess that I work with, like, and she comes and she just like, that's it. Like any spirit dumb enough to come after me in the astral and,
it's
hurt me
so
is
funny,
that's fine.
Ryan, because I've never had any interference because I didn't even know that I really needed it or could use it. I didn't even know because I don't ever pick a fight. But when you feel something nasty, or I picked fights when I see people, entities interfering with children. It trips my trigger.
Yes,
So
that's
it's
the
game
number
on.
one thing, actually.
Yeah, it's game on. So
Yeah.
so I have went at him from that point of view. But that's the only point of view I've ever kind of like said, I'm taking you right now. So, but I you know how you said you've seen them kill like the spirit? I kind of got in trouble for that because I was doing that a little bit, and I didn't really know that I was doing that because I was like emanating a bomb out of my heart, and it was destroying
I've done that.
anything in the field, right? So it's I didn't even know, but I didn't kill him. But they told me, they said, you got to stop this because what you're doing is going to take a very long time to put back together. I was like, oh, I didn't know. Sorry. So, we got to be careful with our power too, and absolutely understand that you're probably more powerful than you know, because that's kind of what I've had to find out the hard way. So, oops. So trust. You trust, and trust that you have everything that you need and then some within you. And what you don't have, part of your soul tribe does. So anything that you might have a deficit in, the guardians that were sent on this incarnation to watch over you, look over you, be involved with your incarnation, they're all carrying anything that you wouldn't have, they have. So between you and them, you're a full package. Full package beyond your imagination. And it's like I said, cooperation is king in the higher realms. The more cooperative you are, the more selfless you are, the higher of the ranks you ascend. So it always goes back to love.
Yeah, and sometimes even when you're trapping, I mentioned this story once before, and you were the first to realize what was happening. But when I was doing mission work and trying to like get like into a really nasty soul farm, like really in the catacombs of the depths, like it was really bad, and like I ended up like fighting this one spirit, and then like it just suddenly just dissolved, and behind it was like a human, a woman, just like a regular human, and like it was just like, what's going on? And like you figured it out that like this was a spirit that was like kind of, it came from her, but it wasn't her. It was like kind of controlling where her fragment, like it kept her trapped there, and like by basically like showing my own light, like it ended up freeing her from what was holding her back in that particular soul farm, because these places aren't real. They're like vortexes. So when you track
Ryan literally, his light was so bright that it made her remember her own light. And that
and
was
then they kind of and then these other beings, probably angels, kind of like brought her with them, and then she was cleared from the area. So I thought that was pretty, and this was like during battle. So it was like the weirdest thing to happen during an actual astral battle in a soul farm. Crazy.
And that's why your light was so bright, was because you were fighting the good fight, and you were fighting for good. And that is it's a frequency, it's a light. So she was seeing you like an angel. And then when she realized, no, you're human, she's like, oh my God, I'm a human too. And she had a remembrance, and that remembrance is what ignited her light inside of her. I've seen that happen before when you go, because I've always seen myself doing retrievals from the lower realms when a soul is ready to get out of those lower realms. I don't know how that actually happens. I know it's with the conscious shift. There's some type of a shift. So they might be seeing somebody like you and seeing that light, and it triggers a spark in their mind, but not enough yet to reignite the fire in the chest.
Yeah,
so
it needs like that one extra moment. Like it has to
yes.
be like
And it just, it unlocks them, and then somehow we get the call that it's like time to go get another one, and I don't know how you know.
Yeah, exactly. Like they know, like our guides know. They send us right there when we're ready.
Yeah,
we don't know we're ready, but we're ready.
And then sometimes, like when I would go down to go grab these souls, I knew what my target was, and when I would get it like by the hand, when I was going to pull it out, my light would shine, and sometimes I would see like 15 or 20 different souls just instantly light, and that's what, like Ryan said, you see these angels just come in and swoop and take them up too. It's beautiful, kind of like a smile. It's contagious.
Yeah, exactly. Like, and especially when it starts so dark, like in the depths with like in the catacombs, and then to see something like that makes it really worth it. It makes you really feel like you're doing something good and that you're doing something positive for the souls that are trapped there. Because it's like a lot of nasty stuff. And I mean, this is stuff we did even like back in the day with Kent and with Lauren. Like we would go into like the depths of Atlantis with her and like try to open up these portals, and that was like the most difficult place that we could do, obviously, because that's probably like the worst of the worst. Like people think Atlantis is all like dolphins and happy stuff, but I mean, it might have been at one point, but like there was a lot of war there. There was a lot of just like bloodshed and violence, and souls really got trapped there, and to go down in there to do battle and to free them is no easy task. It is very difficult, and like even the best like warrior spirits are going to have a lot of trouble, and some people are going to fall because you have to check your ego, and if there's any ego at all, it's going to be exploited down there. So you have to really be on your game and really know your purpose and do things for the right reason. Like keep the end game in mind, like just that you're doing things for the betterment of humanity on every level, not just this world, but souls in general, to free them so they can go into the next levels, that they're no longer bound to this level, kind of like bring light to the darkest depths of Atlantis and to darkest depths of the astral planes.
Yeah, Dark Truth had a question. I saw, she wanted to know if guardian angels are the same as the watchers. In my opinion, absolutely not. The watchers would be part of the archonic, like the construct of the solar lord rules and regulations kind of this existence.
Saturnian.
Guardian angel.
Yeah, Saturnian, I agree.
Part of you. It's literally, it's part of you. And it is one of the highest aspects of you. And it's fractaled into the lower realms to be in with you, but it's still whole. It's so hard to explain, but the guardian angel, for what I've seen, it's literally part of you, as to where the watchers are part of the galactic matrix creative system. Like they're literally parts of consciousness forming the galaxy. So I see them differently, if that makes sense.
And they have a lot of like they're also reapers too, the watchers. Like they have a lot of they have their own roles. Like some of them are very knowledgeable, and some of them just like are reapers, like justice, like things like that. Like you said, cosmic. So that's why that's one of the reasons they get a bad rap, because like if people are not doing what they're supposed to do, then the watchers are some of the spirits that might come down hard on them. And this is their Saturnian aspect, because Saturn is, like you said, all about rules and regulations. And if you break certain rules, like cosmic rules, then you're gonna get like really
you're gonna deal with Saturn.
Some of the reapers, like there's
you're gonna deal with Saturn. Yes.
Exactly, and there's like a lot of gods that are Saturnian gods that are death gods, and they're pretty scary, but they're not. That doesn't mean they're evil, but they are scary.
Oh, I don't know.
A lot of them are great.
I'm pretty sure that would be the evil part if there was one, because that death worship part of that. Oh man, that is
that's what causes a lot of people to fall.
I've ever seen is there. That is just.
That's what causes a lot of people to fall, because that's what brings people to the depths of their ego, where you basically promise them the world in exchange for their soul. So like the death aspect really does that. Like you'll get everything, but you'll have to do the most horrendous acts. But and then people end up doing these acts and they love it, and then that's how they fall.
Yeah, and
that
it's
is the fall right there.
the vampiric part of it too. It's like the loosh part of it. It's all of that. It's some heavy stuff. But then there's also too the positive aspect of Saturn, because that is it's an aspect.
Yeah, and that's why I try to work.
Yes.
Yeah, it's tough. It's more like responsibility. So bones, Saturn was bones. So Earth, Capricorn. So it's like being grounded. That's like the main thing in this world. Grounded, responsible, just to be.
It helps with structure. It sets up governance.
Prevents you from flying out of control like Jupiter.
And it's kind of like, your mom when you're a little kid. It's always redirecting you, but it's because it really wants the best for you. So your mom gives you that look, you better straighten up right now. You just know. So it's that stern. It also has, that's its feminine part. It's like the mother energy of, disciplinary mom telling you, you better clean your room, you better get your homework done. It's that energy too. So Saturn's diverse in its personality.
Because that's one of the energies that I work with the most. I've seen like all sides to it. And,
Saturn is profound.
And I think that is basically what causes the most people to fall, that type of energy, because a lot of people just can't handle it. And that's really going to expose your ego the most out of anything.
Yes. Saturn's got a lot of power, especially over us. So.
Yeah, and the other one that a lot of people have trouble with, the lesser malefic, is Mars. So Mars energy, I think that's been corrupted. I don't think it was like, I've gotten a lot of gnosis about Mars energy that in the past it was more feminine, because in the past people really honored the female, the woman, as the menstruator, like the first menstrual cycle with able to give birth. Like this is the beginning of fertility. So Mars was like the signal, the first signal of action that the woman can give birth. And then this was like the positive aspect of Mars. But as people became more warlike, it became more into like bloodshed and violence. And this was like the corrupted aspect of Mars, which kind of took control over the years. And I feel that this became fragmented too. Like in the beginning, like Mars energy was one with the feminine energy. And then eventually even like the goddesses became fragmented. Like you ended up having Aphrodite on one and Ares on the other. They were total opposites. But in the beginning, there was like, say, Inanna, who was Mars and Venus all in one, warrior goddess, goddess of love. And before her, even like Sephirons and all of these other Atlantean goddesses, everything mixed together into one, like the Mars aspect, the Venus aspect. They were integrated. They weren't separated. They weren't like Aphrodite here, all love and light, and then Mars here, battle and war. Like things became fragmented, and that's what caused a lot of problems with the whole Mars energy.
Do you see how that is a shit show? Because the more separate you become, the more conflict arises.
Yeah, because
because it creates division.
Like you go further inside, and then
simply right, and that is only in our mind because it's not true.
Yeah,
but it's how it is perceived, and that is the separations. And this is how so much healing takes place when you understand you are all of this, and they are all of it too. So and even in their aspects, they are their aspects, but you need to know that they're also more than their aspects.
Right.
When we can start putting this stuff back together, this is when we're going to see some powerful movement.
Exactly. And the more you repress something, the more it's going to show up like in explosive ways, because you're trying to keep it hidden, but you can't do that because it's part of you, and it's going to come out in the most negative ways. Like that's why people have explosions. You got people running around crazy right now because they can't deal with certain aspects of themselves. But like you can't repress certain things. Things have to be like integrated wholly. Like you can't. I mean, there's one thing to be against certain acts that you know are morally wrong, but you can't associate like a whole like system like Mars or Saturn with like just evil. Like, and stay away from that, because these are parts of yourself, and there are a lot of good aspects of these that need to come out. And if you repress the whole system itself and throw the baby out with the bathwater, then it's going to come out and bite you. And then that's when you get the really difficult struggles in life. Like you really have to understand like what, like these aspects of life, these aspects of the universe, all created the universe as a whole, and they created you, and all of this is within you. like all these elements that all of the different planets symbolize, like they're all within you, like all of these elements are. So we have to realize that we're whole, and then separate that from anything like moral, which is something totally different. Moral is more philosophical, not necessarily religious, in that like we are the type of beings that are filled with everything. And once we accept that wholeness and that unity, then we will come from a place of love and a place of reason, rather than just being separate and having like one thought dictate another, and like everything being at war and conflict in our own mind.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Nice.
Oh,
I'm good.
so-
I
Go
got
ahead,
so
Robert.
many. I got so many questions.
Go for it.
You mind? I got questions. I'm just like been so quiet and patient, like this little mouse in the corner, just taking notes. I'm writing down on my little notepad here. Anyway, you know me. I'm the average Joe with the hard questions. Anyway, the porthole. Explain the porthole in the easiest, simplest terms, because I want to make, am I just imagining this porthole as I lucid dream and then I can go through it? Do I have to announce, because you were talking about, I asked for you want to meet others, you say your intention, or do you just say your intention in your head? I know David Castle told me about intentions, and I've done that in my head. And I've also spoke it out loud, but I don't think it makes a difference.
You know what, guys, because I mean, literally, okay, like I absolutely love Ryan's mind. He is a scientist. He's a doctor. He's brilliant. He loves details, and he structures and he builds things. It's powerful. Now, me, I am way more impatient. When I go to make a portal, I literally just start to spin energy and it opens. It's that fast. And when I want to shut it down, I start to turn it the opposite direction, and I start firing energy at it that it's its perfect opposite. So they cancel each other out and it closes. So that's all I do. It's really kind of that simple. But like I said, I love that Ryan does it a different way. And this is the thing, guys, you find your way. Your way is the best way. But this is why we give each other ideas, so you can find what works for you.
Yeah, and one thing I want to add is you don't want to overthink things too much.
Yeah.
So that's one thing that if I'm unsuccessful, it's because I try too hard or I think too much. Like, you don't want to try too hard. Like, you just want to let the energy overtake you for a moment. Like I said before, just meditate, like ground yourself, and you're like, okay, now it's time. Like, and then it's time, and like, I'm going to go here. So you just have to like know it, basically.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Because I know, like, I've tried to set my intentions, and then
that's good to
kind of relax. Just kind of relax. Yes. And that seems to work pretty good for me. So, okay. Because I mean,
yeah.
So far, it's like there's nobody telling you too much. You just kind of guesstimate on the trip, and figure it out yourself.
Follow your gut, Robert. Just see what you're being kind of pulled to, and make sure it feels good, because your feelings, those are your most important tools of protection in those higher realms. In the astrals, you need to pay attention to how something is making you feel, because you got to remember, our eyes will deceive us, but your gut usually is telling you the truth. So if you feel something's funky, pay attention.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, you don't want to force things.
You got a good one there. You talked about protection from these other spirits. Now, the thing is okay. So when I do or say things, I imagine this bubble of blue love protection over me and around me. I just close my eyes and I imagine this, and then I do and say and things like that. Is that any good, or is that just
Robert? It's beautiful.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, like you can imagine yourself being surrounded by like a force field of some, like. So I might go into battle a bunch because that is my intention with certain things. But I mean, if I'm just ready to go on the higher planes in the astral, I don't get bothered by anything. So people shouldn't, like, if you want to do like deep spiritual missions, then yeah, you need a lot more protection. But like what you said is absolutely fine 99% of the time. Like you just want like just some kind of protection, like it could be a prayer, it could be a visualization of energy surrounding you. Like
you know what I like to do whenever I feel like I need extra protection? I literally see myself going into myself, and I shine golden light out of my body, out of my pores, and I form a space suit, like a armor suit, and it's my armor of God, and it covers my whole entire body. So it's like I turn myself into, like, I don't know how to explain it, like a golden armor. So like I said, use your imagination and like
something similar too.
Yeah, do what resonates with you. Some people might want full metal armor. They might want, diamond light. Like I love to use mirrors. A lot of times if I know I'm going into something serious, I create my auric field, and the outer I put layers of protection within the auric field. And then the final outer layer is 100% covered with mirrors. So everything that I go at is only going to see its own reflection.
Nice. And mirrors could even be used as portals too. Sometimes I use them as portals. Like I'll use mirrors as portals too sometimes. Like not even intentionally, but sometimes I'll see a mirror and I'm like, oh, I need to go through this. Like it's just a signal.
Can
like,
I read this really quick? I wanted to do a quick little brief rundown of astral plane and aura. Okay. So this is out of the Alchemy book, Saint Germain. You guys know my alchemy book that I love, Saint Germain on Alchemy, Formulas for Self-Transformation by Prophet. So it says, astral plane, the repository of the collective thought, feeling patterns, consciousness, and unconscious of mankind. The pristine purpose of this band or frequency is for the amplification of the pure thoughts and feelings of God in man. Instead, it has been polluted with impure records, vibrations of the race memory multiplied ad infinitum by an evolution caught in the riptides and the repetitive cycles of its own negativity. That's what I mean. We have been so mind screwed on so many levels, and this goes back thousands of years, guys. We have some healing to do, some really big healing, and it's because of these vibrations of thought through trauma, cycles of endings, cataclysms, all this stuff. It's like right now I keep hearing it's really time to start to clear all of this energy if we can. So then the aura, a luminous emanation or electromagnetic field that surrounds the physical body, often equated with the astral body, a halo or a nimbus associated with the saints, originating in the soul and soul blueprint, which mirrors by free will the heavenly or the earthly patterns. The distinctive radiation of sentinel life and inorganic objects as captured in Kirlian photography, breath or atmosphere surrounding the interplanetary and the 4 lower bodies of man and his chakras, upon which the impressions, thoughts, feelings, words, and actions of the individual are registered, including his karma and the records of past lives. The highly charged circle of sacred fire surrounding Christ as ascended master, angel, Elohim, or cosmic being, transferable as grace to whomsoever they will it. a spiritual corona referred to as the L field or the life field, the astral etheric sheath surrounding mankind and all organic life, and that both regulates and reflects not only the situation of it, what its frequency radiates, but the health, the vitality, and the longevity of that physical body or organism. These are all registered within the auric field. So I thought that might be helpful for some of you to hear a little bit more about the aura.
That's very similar to like one phrase that one of my main goddesses uses is macro radial self, in that like everything is connected from like the inside, from within, like, and it just radiates out, like basically like a circle, and then it's macro because it connects to other things, like, because we think of everything in linear terms, like linear as far as like time, when everything is really cyclical. And with
Yes.
us, like we're just like a point, and then like we radiate outward. It's like an energy body that really connects with everything else that's around us. So we should really think in that term. That's what it reminded me of when you were saying that the microcosm like connects with the macrocosm, like the world soul
Yeah, and
itself.
that's
And, like,
amazing
it's
how
like a web.
yeah, and it's amazing how you're talking about it starts all from that central point. I kind of would
Yeah.
like to show you guys this too. Let me see real quick. Okay, I don't know if you guys can see this. I'm going to hold this up and hopefully you can. Okay.
Oh,
Can
yeah.
you see
One
that?
of the platonic forms, platonic
Yeah.
solids. Yes, platonic solid.
Because this is literally what we are. So it says, above is how you look as you unfold within your orders of consciousness. From your 3D perspective, you are the plutonic solid. Notice you are 7, with your final form being the septahedron. Only these positive forms may fit within your perfect balance. To include yourself, the circle. You are also 2 negative plutonic solids, 1 balanced plutonic solid. These are the point, line, and phi symbol, respectively. The 7 plus 2, 7 and 2, 7, 2, give birth to the 10. And that's our number system. So the plutonic solids are what give birth to the number system. So the period, or the single anchor point, is the implosion in space. It is the symbol for the excretion into the void, or negative discharge. It is the reason why the feminine energies, to include the human female, have a menstrual cycle, aka the period. Inside the circle sphere, the explosion, the period indeed touches no surface area, yet remains balanced. Now flip yourself on axis, and you will recognize yourself as the line, the one being a 2D line. It is also balanced from each end within the sphere. Using the period as its axis, the line may spin omnidirectional to create the circle sphere. The spin of the septahedron, the 7, on its axis creates the bell, the voice of God. Now you understand the ancient Sumerian depictions of God handing man the 0 and the 1, which all form is drawn. And that's you, the 0 and the 1.
Perfect.
Thank you.
And I could
I
add
was
with the
amazing because you were talking about the point and the dot, and you were talking about menstrual cycles. I was like, Ryan, this like matches
yeah.
all of
And that
that.
really goes into like the structure of the human form on a spiritual level. And it's
Yeah.
interesting you said 7, because 7 is like the main number of pretty much everything. Like
Creation.
seven created planets. And then once you get to the 8 is the philosophical Mercury, and that's considered the philosopher's stone. So that's what you build yourself by what you do. So we have we're created, like you said, like in this geometric form. like all the elements coming together, and then then it's our job to take it to the next level and create the eighth, and that's really the crown. That's the philosophic Mercury, the philosopher's stone, and that's like the goal of all of alchemy, to bring it back to alchemical work.
Yeah, and then once you're in the 8, which is the infinitum, the infinity, which is the perfectly balanced mind operating between the masculine and feminine polarities in the mind, connecting into the 0 point, what gives you the 9, which is completion.
Nice.
Yeah. And then you can go back to 0 again.
Tetractus, as Pythagoras would say.
Yes, absolutely.
You know, I'm learning so much tonight. I'm going to have to rewatch my own show.
I love it. Yay.
You know, but so here's the biggest thing I kind of caught a lot of, and you kept saying this, even when you said you would go to you do your lucid dreaming, and all of this is because you keep saying, and you've repeated this over and over, you need to do the work. You need to make the choices. You kept saying, you know, the guides will guide you, but you have to do the work. And just as you just said something about, you know, doing this and imagining this, you have to do it. You can't just sit there and say, you know, hey guides, you can show up and then take me away, and they're not going to come and pick you up and take you there if you just ask them and beg them to. You have to do the mind work. And you have to, once you get there, you have to keep going with it. I understand from you, right?
It's like effortless action. Like you don't want to try too hard and force things. Like you want to do things effortlessly, like the magician card in the tarot. So it's like you kind of just know what needs to be done, and you just have to follow that. Because if you start doubting yourself, that's when you end up making dumb decisions. So you just have to kind of like go with the flow, basically. Like, this is what I need to do. And I mean, there are some times where I am clueless. I'm like, wait, what am I supposed to do? And then that's when it's like, okay, time out. And then I'll ask one of my guides, like, okay, what exactly is going on here? So, but for the most part, like, you want to be like the magician tarot, so that you just go effortlessly with the flow. But just you have to be the one to take action. Like, you can't depend on anyone else outside of you. Like, you have to be in control. And that's something that it takes time, because a lot of people they don't know what to do. So it's understandable.
So you're saying, so to me, I understand that is you need some self-confidence in yourself to really function that way, because even in life, you know, in real world here, if you don't have self-confidence, you go right down the toilet.
And same thing, like you can compare it to in real life situations, how some people are like scam artists. They'll say like, oh, give me $200 and I'll get rid of all your negative energy and make your life great. And people will actually do that because they don't have confidence that they can do it themselves. So they end up falling for scams like that. So you just have to.
Not only that, I think they literally send demons so that way they get more work.
It could be. Some people probably do that, actually.
I do. I swear I do.
Yeah, that's true. That could definitely be possible. But yeah,
well, you know why I say that? Because I went to one of those wackadoodles one time, and she was all telling me I need these $300 candles, and I got to get rid of these demons and family curses. And
this is like.
I was like, girl, you were batshit crazy, and I don't need none of that shit. And I swear to God, I got hit with demonic shit within 48 hours, and I'm like, you feisty little witch. Okay, game on. You know, and I had
all
to
the YouTube celebrities are like that too.
Yes, I think they do that.
Yeah.
So with all of that, here's you said something about, you know, once you go in there, you got these spirits or entities or whatever, and you're trying to protect yourself. I'm kind of reading off my notes, sorry. But anyway, so you got these spirits or entities. So this is a good question, and like some people say they got possessed, for instance, you know, give or take, whatever. So if you didn't know what you were doing, because some people may lucid dream or or get sucked into or imagine themselves in this without intentionally doing it, can happen. And then, you know, here you are, and they go, hey, there's a fresh one, and you're going, where am I at? What am I doing? Because I swear when I was a kid or younger, things like that happened to me. And I was like, wow, I have several, that'll be another show altogether. But anyway, the point is you're out there tootling along, you ain't protecting yourself, and you didn't know you actually jumped over or out or wherever. And then they come and get you. And then you say, oh my God, that person, they're like two personalities, like sharing. Is that
That's
possible?
what I mean.
Is that when that happens?
That's how you know too, Robert, because you're not yourself.
Yeah.
Anytime that you are starting to feel like you're not yourself, or you're having thoughts running through your mind that aren't your thoughts,
mind parasites.
That's when immediately you need to be aware, shield up.
And banish those negative thoughts too.
Yeah, because that the hardest part though is literally identifying these frequencies, because they come in real slow and real gentle and real quiet. And by the time you realize they're there, they've already got a pretty good hook in you. So that's when you have to start to clear, protect yourself, build your field up. And the strongest thing to do is shift your own personal vibration. Listen to music that makes you happy, watch a funny movie, because if you shift your frequency, they don't have the key to the lock anymore, because it has to be a frequency that they can stay in, or they really can't stay in it too long. So you got to really work on your frequency.
Interesting. Okay. Well, it never happened to me, but I'm sure I could say I know it's happened to other people.
Well, yeah, too, when you start working with this stuff, Robert, you might start to feel, because if you start going in the astral fields, I hate to say it, but we're beacons of light. So things see you and they can follow you back.
Yeah. And yeah, that we actually talked about that just before. That happened to me in the beginning when I first started doing this work, and I didn't close a portal on the way back. And 6 spirits ended up chasing me and like they were attacking me. And I had to really unleash the hounds basically. And my guides weren't very happy about the lack of caution that I did. So you always have to like close the portals, close the doors behind you. Like Trina had a good recommendation where you could just do it in reverse, or you could just like command it to close, like whatever you just have to do. Yeah, you just have to close it.
I flip it.
So nothing follows you back. But yeah, and then once if you're not very sensitive to it, then it might be difficult to see, because they like Trina said, they come very quietly, and then they just like they'll attack your mind, basically, like the archonic mind parasites. They'll make you think thoughts that aren't your own to try to like vampire, like steal your energy, basically, because they feed off the energy that you give off, because you get the emotional energy, and then that leads to something that they can take in. And one thing I do, like if you're really like, so there's one thing you can do to get rid of that, and that could be like if you have a really close spirit guide, you can do invocations, because once their energy, or you could even invoke your higher self, because once you have that really strong energy of your higher self, or a very powerful spirit guide like a god or an angel or a goddess, then that's going to, it can't handle that. It's just too much light, and at the very least you'll be able to see it and like banish it, and then you don't have to worry about it. And then, but you just have to be careful when you get back to the normal state that it doesn't like latch back onto you, because they can do that. So you just have to be aware, and like one thing you can do, like I said before, is just banish those thoughts. Like realize when you're thinking something negative that really isn't for your best good, like I shouldn't be thinking this, I banish this, and then that's it. And then just replace it with something more positive, replace it with something more that's you.
Yeah. People too, when they pull energies out, we got to replace it with something different, because if you're leaving a hole
you don't want
in that energy field, something else will just jump right back in.
Exactly.
Yeah. A lot of people don't. Yeah. They forget to fill the hole back up with something new and good. Yeah. So
and that's why I like to invoke
that. Yeah.
Like once I invoke like a very powerful goddess like Hecate, then like she fills every hole, nothing can get in, and if anything was there, then I could see it, and then it's like, all right, you're out. Get back to where you came from.
Yes.
And that's one thing she always tells me, like sometimes if I come to Hecate and if there's a nasty spirit that won't leave me alone, then she's like, well, where do you tell that spirit to go? Like back where it came from. Okay, I get it. So that's what I do. Whether it's from another person intentionally, or whether it's from like just resonating with something negative, like when I'm in a lower state.
And I hate to say it, I think reversals are some of the most powerful, appropriate things to do on the whole spectrum, because you're not creating it, you're not making a consequence, you're just reversing what already is.
Yes.
And I just, it's one of my favorite ways. And like I said, I even do it with portals. I just flip that stuff around. It's like reversals are very powerful. So if somebody's sending dark energy at you, simply put up mirrors and reverse that energy. Really, I had a friend who was being attacked one night, and she called me, and she was getting hit pretty hard. I says, I need you in your mind right now to shield yourself with mirrors and reverse the magic. Reverse it. Literally 3 people at the dinner table she was at that night literally started vomiting upon the reversal. It was instantaneous. They started puking. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. This stuff is powerful, guys, and it's true. But like I said, don't create dark stuff, because you'll eat it. You'll eat it, just like those barfing people. Sorry. They're eating your own creation. So be careful, because you are powerful, and what you do does matter. So, but I haven't seen any comebacks or complications with simple reversals.
Well, that is so true. I mean, everything I've seen, I know Wayne has said that when you're making your thing, you got to reverse it. I seen it on other channels where they were talking about doing that, that they would go around and find portholes people had opened up with the rods. They were using the rods, and they were finding these portholes people opened up, probably accidentally or intentionally, but didn't even know they opened something, and things were coming through, and they were just going around and shutting these things.
Yeah. Kent actually does that. Kent Nichols.
Yeah.
He's good at that.
Kent's a really badass.
Yeah, he can see when a portal's open that shouldn't be, and he'll go and close it. He's very good with that stuff.
Yeah. So they're out there, and I don't disagree, and that is one of the things. I mean, it's just like a door. You leave the door open, and things come in. And if how's this go? If things happen here in the our 3D realm, why wouldn't they happen on the other side pretty much the same, or in the same sense? What would be the difference? As
above, so below.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, sure, we're talking different type, but yeah, it's going to be the same thing. So
similar, Robert. Yeah, similar. Similar. As above, so below. It's the 7 Hermetic principles.
So technically, because we're technically from that side, we're just emulating things here like we've seen over there.
Yes.
There you go.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm learning something.
Because we can't see the hidden spiritual causes most of the time. So what we're seeing in this world is just the effects. So a lot of people don't really know that these are just effects, and for the causes, you need to go to like more spiritual, mental planes.
Absolutely. Well, this has been a great night. We've gone over a little bit, and I appreciate y'all for coming. Ryan, you got to come back soon, man. We're learning. This has been.
I told you it'd be super fun, Robert. I was like, oh yeah, Ryan and we get together and it's game on.
Okay, so here's the challenge for everybody. I want to. We're gonna have to come up. Everybody, email me your idea of a good place. The email's in the description below. How they do that? They go like that. Anyway, the description below, and we're all gonna send me an email of a good place to meet, and we're gonna see if everybody is thinking of the similar or same thing, and then we'll pick something out of that. And Ryan, when you come back next time, we're gonna try to imagine this out, and then we'll do the Purple Planet kind of thing again. But then everybody that's listening will be able to go there, and we can all meet. What do you think?
That's great.
We can imagine. It'll be like our little challenge thing, or our little goal. Our goal to do this and then fulfill the end result. You know what I mean? That'd be good. I think this is a good thing. I'm gonna start practicing. I'm gonna well, I've been kind of doing that with David Castle was talking about a lot of the same stuff that you did. I mean, you're way wow, I mean, good descriptions and stuff, but setting your attentions, focusing, not trying too hard, but just letting it happen, feeling your frequency or yourself, and then you got and everything, because we're so used to touching solid items here, and
Right.
and things that are solid. We got to imagine everything is light and frequency, and that's what's really out there.
It almost feels like fluid in the astral. I feel like it
Okay.
has a fluidic feeling to me.
Yeah,
Okay.
it feels kind of swooshy to me too, like swooshy, and like I can speed up or slow down, and
Yeah.
it's really a cool feeling. And the beautiful thing is guys, we can grab each other by the hand. So like if we said, okay, after like next week we could do a show, and then say after the show, everybody that can participate lay down for the next 15-20 minutes and go into meditation and try to go to the purple planet, because the more of us that try to do it at the same time too, it's powerful. So, and we can actually assist each other to get some of the people that maybe are getting stuck. We can grab a hold of them and bring them with us. So just trust what you're getting, trust what you're feeling, and know that you're powerful, know that you're safe, call forth your protection before you go, and call forth the closing of portals, and of course reinitiate, grounding and protection when you get back. And just go and see what you can see and do what you can do. And we're all going to see different parts. We may not see all the same things. So don't think, because if you're not seeing the same thing as a couple other people, that you didn't do it or you failed. That's absolutely not true.
Yeah,
It's just like God has a million eyes. We're all going to see it from a different perspective, but we will find common similar things.
like I said before, when I first went, it was through like a forest area, and other people went through a beach area, but we ended up in the same place. We ended up in the same tower. Like we just took different routes.
You were in a cave, and I went to that cave too.
Oh, wait.
Remember, you went to the cave.
Possible, yeah. I always end up in caves. Hecate's cave, so
that's
probably why I went to the
cave. And I was
that's
like,
probably why I went to
there were symbols on the wall, and I was looking at the symbols, and then all of a sudden I was in the auditorium.
Yeah, I actually go there a lot. That's where back in 2010, I think, 2010, that was my first experience with Hecate, and then that's what she first told me about like herbals and plant alchemy. So it was in her cave, like, and it was just like you described, and there were actually like plants there growing like underneath, and she showed me like a whole bunch of things in there. So that's like my it's like my second home. It's like her womb. So I always end up in caves.
I have a beautiful healing temple that I have a big magical bed in there, and it can turn into a TV screen, or it can turn into a healing table. It's like totally multifunctional, and it's beautiful. I just bring my friends there.
Nice.
Absolutely.
I'm like, welcome to my house.
Absolutely. Well, thank you. And we will do this again soon. Ryan, thank you much. Trina, thank you for coming on a Thursday. I know you had to work. I had to work too.
That's
we all
right.
had to work. Darth,
you, Robert. Oh, God bless you. My God.
I'm doing double duty this week. I'm on call all week.
You are.
Darth, thank you for reading the card. And even though you didn't feel good, you're still a real trooper.
Yeah, thank you,
the card match.
Yeah. What?
It's funny how the card matched the theme of the show.
Every time. Trina, tomorrow. All right, is it tomorrow? Andromeda 7?
Yes.
You got a special guest? Anything going on?
I do not know if we have a special guest, but it'll be fun. We're going to be talking about different aspects of the soul and the oversoul, so it should be fun.
And what time does it start?
I think don't quote me on this. I think no, don't quote me. I can't even say. I think 9 o'clock Central. I think.
Okay, Teresa, she's in the thing. Teresa, if you can put that on in the chat so everybody knows. She's a real trooper. She knows how. She knows. She knows.
She does.
She
is on it.
Yeah. Teresa. Thank you for putting that out extra tonight. And I texted her and she's like, I'm on it. I'm on it. So thank you.
Thank
I
you.
appreciate. One of these days, I'm going to send you a nice big package of something nice.
It's teamwork, guys. Teamwork.
good.
We'll accomplish great things when we work together.
Yes, absolutely. And we will. Now, remember, send me an email where you all want to go. So we're all good. Drama to 7, no special guests, round table, number at 9 p.m.
Eastern Standard Time. Yeah.
Yeah, it'd be 8 o'clock Central Time and 6 o'clock Pacific. So it's all good.
Yep.
That'll be early enough I can get to bed early.
Yes. Yes.
Absolutely. Okay. Well, as we always say, be the frequency you want to receive, and love you all.
Wow.
There we